clearing the mind of its entire content is the only way to get enlightened. As our mind is a thinking machine, it contains thoughts and feelings associated with thoughts. Therefore, we can say the content of our mind as our thoughts and feelings. They are created by the mind itself. A thought is created by the mind with the help of the information given by our sensory organs and the recognition of such sensations with the help of the previous memories that we call knowledge. For example, when we see a person, we can recognize that person with the previous information that we have saved in our brain as our memories. And we recognize a person as our father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, friend, etc. And even things we recognize: a tree, a mountain, a river, etc. we recognize with the help of the previous memories. Memories get opened up with the signals given by our sense organs. Sense organs are stimulated by sense objects. For example, our eye is stimulated by light waves reflected by different objects. Our ear is stimulated by sound waves. Our nose is stimulated by the vibrations of the waves of smells. The tongue is stimulated by the vibration caused by different tastes. The skin is stimulated by touch of objects. The mind is stimulated by saved memories reflected by the brain. Those memories we experience as images. And our thoughts are made of images, pictures. They are reflections. Reflections of the world outside or reflection of the inner world saved in our brain. Thus, our mind contains nothing but mental images. Formation of mental images is the work of our mind. For the mind to relax, has to stop its working. That means creating mental images. Creating mental images means thinking. Thinking means creating a mental image. We want to go somewhere. That means we create a mental image of where we go and how we go. We want to see somebody. Then we create a mental images of seeing that person and that person, particular person. That means thinking is the formation of a series of mental images. Therefore, the entire content of the mind can be called a series of mental images. Images appear to be real, but actually they are not real. For example, your image may be reflected in a mirror, but you are not that image. You are different from that image. And that image is different from you, but it looks like you. That is only an illusion. Similarly, all mental images are illusions created by the mind. Clearing the mind means non-formation of mental images. That means a mind that is not thinking. Therefore, enlightenment means the cessation of our thinking process. Our mind has two functions. One is sensing the information given by sense organs. The other is thinking of them. Even after enlightenment, one can get information from the sense organs. But the enlightened one does not think of them. There is only awareness. And that is referred to in Buddha's language as Sanya Vedaita. Recognizing signals given by sense organs. When they get stimulated by different objects. Therefore, there is sensation even in the enlightened one. It is not their body that gets enlightened, but it is the mind that gets enlightened. That means mind gets completely rid of all mental images, mental formations. Or, in other words, mind stopping thinking. Thinking process ceased at the enlightenment. That is how the mind can be cleared. Although we spoke of enlightenment, it is the outcome of a very long, tedious process. For 20 years after enlightenment, Buddha advised his disciples, as recorded in the Chittavagga of Dhammapada. The first step is cessation of wrong thoughts, cessation of harmful thoughts. That means in Pali, Sabba Papa Sakarana, referring from evil, mental evil. After refraining from evil, you become virtuous. The second step is gathering virtues. Kusalasya Upasampada. We become virtuous. Then the third step in that advice is Sachitta Pariyodapana, clearing the mind. Clearing the mind of its thoughts, inclusive of both good and bad thoughts. Stopping thinking. Practicing that technique is the technique of meditation. In meditation, one is aware of sensations without thinking of them. That means the thinking stops even in deep meditation. Thinking can stop only when the causes of thinking are not available. The causes of our thinking, according to Buddha, can be called our likes, dislikes, and ignorance. Because we think of things that we like, we think of things that we dislike, and we think of things that we are ignorant of, not knowing. We want to find out. Our mind is very inquisitive. The mind wants to know the thing that is not known to the mind. Not known means ignorance. Mind wants to clear its ignorance. Mind wants to get what it likes. Mind wants to get rid of what it dislikes. Therefore, the mind becomes activated through liking, disliking, and ignorance. Enlightenment means the extinction of liking, disliking, and ignorance. Liking means attachment to such things. We think of things, we like things and get attached to it. Attachment is in Buddha's language as raga. Disliking or resentment is referred to in the Buddha's language as dosa. Not being aware of, not knowing is referred to in Buddha's language as moha. They are the three main causes of our thinking process. Raga, dosa, moha. In English, attachment, resentment, and ignorance. In a simple term, liking, disliking, and not knowing. Because we think of things that we do not know. Enlightenment means there is light in the mind. Not knowing nature disappears. Ignorance or not knowing is metaphorically referred to as the darkness of the mind. When there is darkness in the mind cannot see. When there is light, the mind can see what is there in the mind or outside the mind. Appearance of light is referred to as enlightenment. In his very first sermon, Buddha referred to it as Aloko Udapadi. The light dawn. Therefore, enlightenment in the very word enlightenment means illumination of the mind. It can be illuminated if it is dark. Therefore, illumination of the mind that is in darkness. Darkness metaphorically referred to ignorance. Illumination of the mind in darkness means realization the reality. Realization the truth. And it is the ultimate bliss. Both liking, disliking, and ignorance cause a lot of tension in us. When we like something, we want it to continue in that same form. But it won't. In this nature of the world, that is always changing. When you dislike something, we want to get rid of it. When you don't know something, we want to know it. Therefore, liking, disliking and ignorance makes the mind working throughout constantly by way of thinking. When the mind is active, working, it becomes heated. When the mind is not working, it gets cooled down. It is the cooling down of the mind that we experience as the bliss of enlightenment. An enlightenment mind is a cool down mind. It is referred in Buddha's language as nibbutta. Completely cooled down. There is no heat. Because the mind is not working. It's not getting heated. For example, in a microwave oven, our food gets heated when all the molecules are constantly moving within themselves or around themselves when they are in constant motions. Cessation of motion is the cooling down of the mind. Therefore, motion of the mind is referred to in Buddha's language as samsara. Cessation of motion is referred to as nissara. That means the mind becomes free of wave formations, moving up and down. Our mind is constantly running into the past mentally and running into the future mentally formed. We experience our past as our memories. We experience our future as our hopes. Therefore, in the light of past experiences, knowledge, we think of our future. We want to do something, we want to get something, or we want to get rid of something, we are thinking. Thinking with the help of the previous knowledge, projecting our mind into the future without the problem of not having things we like and having things we dislike. Thus, our mind is in a constant struggle through its likes, dislikes and ignorance. There is stress of the mind, friction of the mind, conflict in the mind, a burden of the mind. Enlightenment means disburden the mind. Disburden the mind by removing its content, what we call our thoughts and feelings, caused by attachment, resentment and ignorance, as I mentioned. Therefore, enlightenment means the extinction of likes, dislikes and ignorance, leading to cessation of thinking. That is what happened to the Buddha at his enlightenment, according to a statement he made in his very first discourse called Dhammacakkappavattana. He was teaching 5 ascetics how to get rid of mental suffering, dukkha nirodha. Enlightenment, Buddha referred to in that discourse as cessation of suffering. Suffering, that means mental suffering. And he said dukkha, the mental suffering, is nothing but other than our thinking. He referred to it in his language as Sankittena Pancha Upadana Dukkha. Suffering, dukkha, is nothing but our thinking process. And he referred his thoughts as 5 aggregates, 5 bundles, 5 heaps that go to form a thought. In Pali language, they are called Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. Rupa in our modern language is the stimulation of a sense organ like our eye, ear, nose with a sensory object. For example, as mentioned earlier, eye can be stimulated by light waves, the ear can be stimulated by sound waves, the nose can be stimulated by the vibration of smells. The tongue can be stimulated by the vibration of taste. The skin can be stimulated by touch, by contact of objects. And once these sense organs are stimulated, they get a certain feeling, referred to as Vedana in Pali, and referred to as Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukkha Asukha Vedana. That means pleasant sensation, unpleasant sensation, or neutral sensations. When there is such a sensation, the respective sense organs send signals, electromagnetic signals, to the brain to recognize the object that stimulated the mind. For example, when you hear a voice, the ear sends a signal to the brain, and the brain may recognize it as father's voice, mother's voice, husband's voice, wife's voice, and so on. Sensation is done by the sense organs. Recognition is done by the brain. Then the sending signal is called sanya. Then after the signals are recognized, mental images are formed. A series of mental images get formed, and they are called sankhara. Sankhara are nothing but thoughts. Good thoughts are called punjabi sankhara in Pali. Bad thoughts are called apunjabi sankhara. Neutral thoughts are called aninjabi sankhara because they have a very low vibration. Or they are called aninjabi because as if there is no vibration. Such a phenomenon happens in meditation. As I mentioned at the beginning, thinking ceases in deep meditation. Only awareness is there. Only formation of a mental image is there, but not making a series of mental images by your way of thinking. Confined to one image, the image that is recognized by the mind. Therefore, in meditation, the mind is not thinking, creating more and more images, being content with what is recognized. Yatha Bhuta Jnana Darsana in Pali means seeing things as they are through sense organs. Yatha Labha Santukti, accept things as they are. That means not thinking of them. That means recognizing them. And that is a state of a mind that is free from vibration that we experience as tension, etc., anxiety, etc., fear, greed, likes, dislikes, etc. That is the pure mind, free of thinking. Enlightenment means the non-thinking mind becoming perfect, established. That is mind free of thinking. Mind can be free of thinking when the causes of thinking get extinct, disappear. As I mentioned earlier, the three causes are attachment, resentment, and ignorance, referred to in Buddha's language as raga, dosa, moha. Once these causes disappear, the state of mind is referred in the Buddha's language as vitaragi, vitadosi, vitamohi, meaning a mind free of attachment, resentment, and ignorance. Free of ignorance means alert mind. All sense organs are alert. They are aware of all sensations, sense stimulations, but the mind does not think of them. The mind is settled down. Krishnamurti referred to that state of mind as a silent mind, because metaphorically, poetically, he meant thinking as a way of silent thinking by the mind. Non-thinking, therefore, he referred to as a silent mind. And the technique of arriving at such a mind he referred to as a choiceless awareness. Being aware of sensations without making a choice between what is good and what is bad, or between what one likes or what one does not like, or between what one can see or what cannot see by the mind, or what can know and what cannot know. Just pure awareness is referred to by Krishnamurti as choiceless awareness. And that choiceless awareness is not only the technique of enlightenment, but also the outcome of awareness. Mind that is not thinking means a mind free of its content. Therefore, Buddha referred to the bliss of nirvana attained by, realized by enlightenment as voidness or emptiness. In his own words, sunyata. That is Pali word, the Sanskrit word is sunyata. In English it means emptiness or void. Void means the mind is empty of its content. Then there appears the original intrinsic state of our mind, free of the thinking process or free of making illusory images. When there are no illusory images formed by the mind by way of thinking, there is the real nature of the mind. It is that real nature that the Buddha realized as the ultimate bliss of nirvana. Mind that is not thinking is a blissful mind, because thinking can bring about stress, tension, disturbance of the mind. A mind that is not disturbed, that is what it is said in the Mangala Sutta, Uttasa loka dhamme chittang asana kampati. No sensation can disturb an enlightened mind. Disturbed by creating thought process. That means enlightened mind is a mind free of thinking, where the entire content of our mind disappears That is enlightenment. That is, enlightenment means cessation of thinking. By clearing the mind of its entire content of thoughts and feelings. In Buddhist meditation, we can practice developing such a state of mind that is aware of sensations, referred to in meditation language as mindfulness. Becoming mindful, but a mind that is not thinking of. Therefore, Buddhist technique of enlightenment can be said to be to beware of the mind and beware of, or we can say, mind the mind, to never mind, and in the mind. What we call mind is our thinking. Cessation of thinking is the ending of the mind. The mundane mind. Beyond that, there is a supramundane mind, which is boundless, limitless. Because Buddha's language, which is not born, not manifested, not done, not created, not formed, and etc. That is our original mind, a blissful mind. That is nothing but the bliss of nirvana hidden in us, hidden in everybody of us. For us to realize one day, through observing our own mind, through observing all our mental activities, and ultimately removing all those mental activities, beyond which lies the supreme bliss of enlightenment, the supreme bliss of nirvana.